Worry, we are getting starting soon. I just want to say hello everyone. We hadn't had a live stream quite a while now, and I have to reduce the sound a little bit. It's still too loud, even though that I prepared now like hours. So maybe it's better now for me. I don't know if it's too quiet for you guys, but I hope it's all good. So how are you all together? We have today a fantastic new topic that I want to take a look into, and it's not quite that new because we wanted to talk about Flutter flavors. And who brought me to that great idea? Well, Mahtab had a talk at GDG. I'm not sure which GDG it was, GDG Azerbaijan or something, or let me check. Mahtab flavors. Yeah, here this guy. So Ahmedabad, sorry for that. Ahmedabad, yeah. So she talked about Flutter flavors already, and she introduced me the first time to it because at her work they used it quite a lot, as far as I understood. And what the goal here is just understanding how everything works, getting started with it, and why we need Flutter flavors in the first place. So now the stream already runs like in half an hour. I hope the YouTube algorithm is not too angry at me that I didn't be online correctly. So yeah, let's just start with it, I would say. So if you have ever heard about Flutter flavors, you probably know what they are all about. Flutter flavors is a specific or a special type of possibility. I think Android has that already. So we know that Flutter is already one code base for iOS, Android, macOS, web, and so on and so forth. So we can create one code base for all systems. But what we can't do is, at the moment, we cannot create an app with different colors and different themes and different strings and maybe getting different data from different APIs. So the idea here is that we want to use Flutter flavors for that. So, hey Renan, nice to see you. So the first chat's coming in, fantastic. So I hadn't quite a while now a live stream, so I watched in the meantime a lot of live streams from people like Premagur and other people and live streamers in the development area. And I have to say, I am not that kind of live streamer, I guess. I'm not that energetic and can give you and say, I'm super fast and I do that and that. I still want to keep a bit more tutorial-like. So if you have questions, I want to answer them. I will take the time to really understand the things that I'm doing. And as always, you will learn with me. That means we still will have the live streams where we go through a topic. I will try to explain what I know about it already. Then we want to try to implement it together. That means during the live streams, you probably will see me doing a lot of failures and so on and so forth. And I still want to keep that way. And the last live stream is, I think, at 4th of March or something. So really long ago. So I have to settle back in and start again. For you, yeah, as I said, flavors are a possibility to get like different images and different strings into our application. That means our single code base can be used for multiple apps, actually. That means, let's say we have an online shop. So we have a shop for coffee, and we already have prepared the whole application for this coffee shop. So now we want to rebrand the whole thing from a coffee shop maybe to a clothes shop. And we know that the structure of the app is great and we want to reuse it. And we have maybe already the images and we just have to replace them, or we just have to change the API calls that we change only the CMS, content management system, behind of the app. Then Flutter flavors come into play. So we have the possibility to create out of one single source of code multiple applications. That has the benefit if you, for example, let's take Minu. If Minu, for example, has a customer and his customer is barber, and now he has a second customer and he is a gardener and sells garden products. Now he can create both apps from one code base and he can make both of his clients very happy. And even if one of them wants to have a change, he still can fork and clone the whole application. So this makes it way easier for us to manage multiple applications with different possibilities and more enhancements. So that means we can change the API call, strings, images, but you get the idea, I guess. If not, ask questions. As I said, I'm really happy to answer all of them down in the chat. I just have to make one more additional change in my streaming setup before we can jump into code, and that is I want to see the chat somehow easier than just looking always on the very right side of the screen. So let's take that out, put it here on the left side. Fantastic. And now we are ready to go. So great. Ah, this music. I really miss the music. That's so good. It's from Streamlabs still. So if you are give a shout out for Harris Heller. I think he created all the music. So and now let's switch my streaming setup to the MacBook. Look at that, how good I am prepared, huh? Amazing. So I think I'm so happy about my own stuff. You mean an application template in Flutter? Exactly. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, some kind of that. So we want to create that, and it is like a template, exactly. So you can have different themes, different colors, and so on and so forth. So let's see what I have here. This is the Hive tool that I want to explain. Also there we will have a live stream, because what I have in mind for the future live streams is that I will connect the live streams a little bit more with the videos, because I get a lot of questions regarding if you can make a video for a specific topic. And I think we already talked a lot about Hive, but we didn't make it a special video or a special live stream for that. And people sometimes find it hard to follow the live streams, especially because we do a lot of stuff. What is this? Is this a bug? Eh? Okay. Is here something wrong? No, has nothing to do with the mouse. Okay, so you see the first issues happen. What is that now? Ah, now it works. Okay, so something was stuck, I guess. So let's create our first project. Let's call it, what do we want to name it? What do you have an app idea, a short? So something that we can create today. Maybe we could create, I don't know if an online shop is maybe too much, but why not? We could do something like that, or we could also create a very basic example with 2 images and replace them. But let's start maybe with an idea and call it just flavor example, or flavor. Yeah, example is good enough, I guess. And let's put that here. We want to test flavors in Flutter. So now the mouse should be reconnecting. Fantastic. Hey, activate. What a cool name. All right, so can you see everything? I hope so. The chat is there, this is there, nothing is overwritten somewhere. Fantastic. If you have problems with seeing something, please let me know so that I will change that. And I have to start up the emulator. Fantastic. So now everything should work probably fine. Push that a bit up. So, okay. Yeah, because I don't know so much about Flutter flavors like Mahtab told me. So I have to Google a little bit around. And what I will do first is, of course, cleaning up the to-dos, as you know that. For each new project, we get a clean slate. Hey, Mau Darandir, I didn't see you for quite some time. I hope you are well. And you didn't miss me too much for the live streams. Okay. So can I put that a bit to the side? I think we don't need so much space of that. Do I think that Android is the best platform to use? I think there shouldn't be a difference for the you are right. Why don't I just use the iOS simulator? I worked the last couple of days on this Trophy project. And for that, I always use the Android simulator, to be honest. But you're right, I could use the iOS simulator. I think it's a bit faster on macOS. Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. So let's take the simulator for now, and then let's test it on the other side. So this is closed. Up. make it a bit smaller. Oh, put it on top of here. Thank you, Minu, for letting me know. Good point, good point. So then I have to make that a bit smaller again. Okay, but now we are ready to work. Hopefully. Okay, so the only thing that I know is from this flavor topic that we can use that as a template. And the other thing that I know is that we create for each flavor an own main function or a main Dart. So that would mean we will have later here something like main, how do we call our customers? I think I would like to sell cookies because cookies are amazing. So we have main.cookie.dart. And the other one is, what do we sell else? I think cookies is always good. It's quite safe, yeah, I would say, but we are currently in the mid of the third wave, I would say. And we have some troubles with vaccination, and at the moment we are running into the third lockdown, I think, if I understood that correctly. But yeah, I'm not a good news source, so... Yep. Coffee is important. So fantastic. So we have these two, and we have our current main. Yeah, our third wave. So, and I installed now Blisk as our new main browser for the streams. Let's see, we need Flutter flavors. Click the button, device, yeah, we don't need that. Okay, close. I agree. Creating flavors, thank you. Okay, do you need to set up product flavors for different development environments or release types? The community has written articles, packages you might find useful. Oh, interesting. So it's not really inside of the Flutter package or in the Flutter translations itself, I think. Interesting. So let's create a flavor of a Flutter app. Where do we go to? To Cognitas. So I will share the link with you, of course. I prepared, hopefully good enough. So we will find here the chat. Haha. Look at that. So good prepared. So Android app to use product flavors to set several apps from the same source code, blah, 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 implement in Flutter. So let's go. Flutter create flavor sample. We have a main.dart. Secondly, we create homepage. It displays the app name, the current data, short description, 2 images. All right. Resource folder and the name display darts. Okay, so all the strings will go into that. Okay. Then he took the Intel package, is that necessary? And assets, so adding flavors. Now we will create 2 flavors of our app called app1, app2, Android app build Gradle. Okay, so this is now just for Android. Android manifest, then we have the resources, okay. Flutter run flavor 1 app and Flutter run flavor 2 app. As a write on the message, in between, fails Android flavor name has uppercase. Wow. It's pretty tough, Minu. I cannot wait till it's finally over with that whole COVID stuff. So Flutter setup is just to create the 2 mains. So we have the main common, build app, okay, with some configs. App config of context, okay. App config is a inherited widget in that case, okay. So run flavor app with the main Dart, okay. So hopefully this is even working for iOS. Build flavors in Flutter's Android and iOS, okay. Hey Kwan Nguyen, nice to see you. Hey Mohammed, I explained it at the beginning once, but a flavor is used to create out of one single code base different applications, more or less. So that means you have different images, different strings, different translations. Maybe you also use different endpoints and so on, but you use the single source code. So instead of just using it for different platforms, you're also using it to make 2 or 3 customers happy with it. So, but you can scroll back to the beginning of the video, I think like 15 minutes ago, and there we talked about exactly that topic. So here's it all. We can also use it for dev and prod releases, so that you switch these two between to use different API hooks, for example. Yeah, it's not very well documented yet. That's true. Creating flavor, Android only. It's fairly straightforward. The iOS one is a little low on detail. I had a hard time following it. Okay. Flavor test, initialize default Flutter app. Flutter create flavor, yep. Creating Firebase, okay, we will do that not. Hey Drovin, nice to see you. Create the app for iOS. Okay, we don't want to use Firebase in our case. I just want to add easy to Android. We are working with iOS at the moment, so let's see if I find that somewhere. To iOS, okay. Are going to be more nuanced to set up. Also, iOS configuration is mostly done using Xcode UI. Okay. In a text editor, it is quite messy to explain by typing words. Running the Flutter run command, targeting an iOS device simulator, and see what happens. Flutter run flavor dev. Custom schemes. We cannot use flavor options, so we need to set up something called custom schemes, it seems. You will need to fire up Xcode and open iOS runner workspace, and then here's going to set up customs called dev. Now running Flutter flavor dev again. Interesting. Dinga, what does that mean? I will also create a video for that whole topic flavors as soon as I have understood it fully. This session is just that I will learn it and then we work together on that. And later I will create a video where we are talking about flavors in detail, and I'll try to explain the easy setup process at once. So this is the trial and error phase, and later you will get the finished product, hopefully. But the good thing is about these live sessions, you can ask questions and I can try to explain them as good as possible. So we will work with the Xcode this time. I never worked with the Xcode so much, so let's do that. So I open the iOS module in Xcode. By the way, this is a very fast option that you can try to learn. If you just make a right click in Android Studio, you have this Flutter part. There you can just open Xcode from there. Firebase related videos. Yeah. I think I created a bunch of, and they are still one of the most watched videos here on this channel, which is always a bit interesting, because I don't think that Firebase is so interesting because the most stuff is already done there. But yeah, I will take a look if I can do that. So what happens here now? Build iOS simulator. That's weird. Usually with that, it starts up the open iOS module in Xcode. Because the Xbuild build needs to be done. Okay, fantastic. Here it comes. So here we have our runner, and this is Xcode. So what did the tutorial say? Stated again. Blisk here. The idea is to run that, and now we have to create a custom scheme. So how did he do that? Instead of clicking on runner, new scheme. Okay. Going here, new scheme, creating, let's call that cookie. And we need another one, which is coffee, which are pretty boring. You and your user tokens, you have really a hard time with that guy, huh? Flutter run flavor dev. Can I run that too? Get I also the same error message? Flutter run flavor cookie. Can we see that? Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so we received the whole same thing. Run a target, debug, duplicate. Okay, so let's see. Message tell us that Flutter expects a build configuration by the name of debug dev or similar. Let's create the build configuration. So he goes to the runner and then this configurations. Click on runner in the project. Ensure the runner project is selected, not the runner target. Click editor, add configuration, duplicate. Okay, debug configuration. If the option is disabled, it's likely you have the target selected instead of the project. Okay. That could be Minu. It's always hard to keep documentation up to date. I learned that the hard way. Okay, so what did we say? We go to runner. We are now in the project. Here we have to go to the build, no, to the info. And here we have the configuration. So currently we have debug, release, and profile. And he says we need something. The Xcode defines build configuration, debug, release, profile. Flutter expects to build configuration named debug cookie or similar. Okay, open Xcode to fix the problem. Okay, that means we need now duplicate them, and he called them dev. Okay, fantastic. So for us, that means we open up that. We can, for example, get this one and call it debug cookie. Release would be then release cookie. And profile would be profile cookie. And I think we need the same thing for our coffee. So let's clone the release cookie and make a release coffee out of it. And the same thing for profile. Okay, so clicky bunty, a lot of stuff here happens. We save the whole thing. The interesting part is he gets 2 configuration sets. I only have 1, but that could be because I have a newer Flutter version. I'm currently working on Flutter 2. Okay, so let's try it again. Maybe that's it already. That would be amazing. Ooh. And we wait, and we wait. I really should have live streamed the whole trophy work that I have done, really, because I was so fast and I could make so many stuff doing at the same time. It was amazing. I had so much fun in that time. Okay, so what happens here? Running with unsound null safety, that's fine. Flutter DevTools is available. So it starts up actually. So if I'm looking, yep, happy days. We have not customized anything in the build scheme build configuration. So the app is running with the same configuration as it was earlier. Rename the default build scheme and build configuration to prod. Okay, he takes the default runner. Okay. The original is okay. What is that now? He goes to the manage scheme. Okay. Goes to the dev edit. There's really a lot of clicking. Manage scheme. Edit. Okay, so this is debug cookie, profile cookie, then this is debug cookie, this is release cookie. Okay, close. Then manage scheme, we go to coffee, edit, release coffee, analyze debug coffee. And that should do the trick. Okay. connected to their own build configuration. We can now customize things per scheme. Let's first change the app bundle identifier to be different for both schemes. Our prod application ID in Android was prod. Okay, so what that means is if we go now to runner, what does he do? He goes to the target. Usually you have this one, right? This is your bundle identifier, but now he tells us that we have the possibility to go to build settings. Build settings and search for bundle identifier. And we can open that up. Ah, okay. So now in the debug, we keep that one. Here we could say that this is now, instead of this, we go and call that here. How does he do it? Does he do it with a dot? Let's see. Flavor test, yeah. Yeah, he just adds it with a dot. Okay, so let's make the same. So this is coffee. This is cookie. Oops. Now let's copy the whole thing over. And don't copy it. Coffee. So then we have here dot cookie. Dot coffee. And last but not least, dot cookie. Okay, we've done that. Display names for the app. However, the display name is not there in the build settings for the target. So we simply make a user-defined parameter and use it instead. There has been changes in how build works now. I just get an error that says could build runner. You should update your info plist file to include a new property. Okay, so this is inside of the p info list that is inside of iOS runner info plist. CF app bundle name, app display name. Do we have that here somewhere? No, or no. Okay. And now we have that. I see. Okay, so that's also something in Xcode. What is that now? App. Maybe this has not updated yet with the info plist. App display name is here. Product bundle identifier. User defined. And here we should have now a new one. Build runner. No, it's not here. New setting. New underscore setting. Runner build settings. So here inside of the info, app new setting. let's do it this way. Let's restart the Xcode for now, because I have the feeling I get trolled a little bit. We have that, so now go back to the runner. Info, this runner. Display name would be this one. Multiple values, and this didn't work, I think. Data obfuscation, no. Huh. Flutter target. You do not need to change the display name property in general tab anymore. Finally, we have to figure out the different Google service. Yeah, this is for Firebase. So why does that not work now? To avoid instead of adding to the display name property in general tab, you should update your info plist including the new property. Okay. And how can I set now this new property? You want to sign in with phone number and password? Yeah, sure, why not? In Firebase, or what do you mean especially or exactly? Localization, English build settings, supported platforms. There is a documentation for that on Firebase, how exactly you can do that. It's quite easy and straightforward actually, if you just want to do it with phone number. You just have to register it there. So where is it? Yep, in Firebase. If you want to do it with Firebase, then you can just do it with Firebase. New setting, that's weird. Ah, it's gone. No, there it is. CF bundle display name. Runner target. Flutter build name. Build. Dot observe build. Bundle identifier, product name. Bundle. Bundle version, bundle name, Flutter example. Bundle display name is the app display name. App display name. App. Combined, is it in levels then? Nope. Add user defined settings. New setting 1 and 2. Can I work on them? No. Xcode app display name. On the scheme, yeah. Add new build configurations. Okay, add Google, yeah. Then you update the value app name for each configuration. So we add a new one. We did that, I think. Press add user. I will name my, how can they name it? Am I just, I have to do it myself. Now I get it. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we got it. So this is the default. Flutter, then we have here debug, or better, let's call it coffee shop. Do we have a cool name for a coffee shop? Let's call it Beans, Bean Factory. I like the idea. So, and the other one is, do we have some cool cookies? Let's call it Crunchy Munchy. So Bean Factory and Crunchy Munchy is soon open for business. I hope I don't have any claims here with that namings, but I hope it's okay. So Bean Factory and Crunchy Munchy, let's have them. And default Flutter. Okay, so with that, we have now this app display name, and we can remove these two, I guess. Nope. How can I remove something? Oh, let's keep them. Hey Milko, nice to see you. Study hard, you are confused because of Firebase. Let's have a look if I can help you. Firebase, sign in with phone number. We are working actually on flavors in Flutter, and currently I'm working on making iOS apps flavorable. If you don't know what a flavor is, we try to separate the different things there. So that means you have two shops. We create at the moment our cookie shop that's called Crunchy Munchy, and our Bean Factory as a coffee shop. And depending on which one of the flavors we use, we want to change the colors, use different API endpoints, show different images, kind of that. And today we just want to jump into it and understand how everything works. And yeah, let's see. So authenticate with, let's go to the Flutter Fire, is it? I think the up. And now I just want to quickly help study hard if I can. Or Minu has already. Let's see, Firebase Flutter Dev. That looks already pretty promising. Oh no, did I somehow closed the chat? No, that is the chat, so fantastic. So let's see if we can quickly check that. Phone authentication, usage, verify phone number, sign in with phone number. It's just for the web platform. Interesting. So that is maybe the confusion here. So if we verify the phone number, what is that? Start the phone number verification process for the given phone number. This method is used to verify the user provided phone number belong to the user. Firebase sends a code via SMS to the phone number where you must prompt the user to enter the code. The code can be combined verification. Yeah, so the verify phone number is more or less your verification. Yeah, exactly. And then you get it back. Okay, fantastic. So hopefully you understood, else just ask again. So it's just use the verify one, that works. Okay, so now we were able to create different app names. So that means when we start our app on iOS, we should now see, if we make it smaller or something, that we see the different namings. So by the way, I can share with you this link here. That is the tutorial I'm following at the moment with iOS and Android. So if you create schemas for each build configuration, it will be easier to handle different bundles. I think we did that already, right? So, that is the different, okay. This guy, so we have done that. We have the Google services. Okay, that would be a possibility. We actually don't need that in our case. What they do, okay, he created two folders for each Firebase dependency. The script I used below. Okay, so this is just for runner directory, okay. Flutter run flavor, okay. Cool. Prod dev, so this is the stuff we get here. We will jump back to Xcode for this one. So this is if we have different icons. Maybe we can do that also. Now when we build the app in iOS, we will get something like that. Okay. The only thing that I'm missing here is the Dart stuff, right? So we cannot execute it with different Dart files. He just used different Firebase configurations, I think. Flavor test compare. Update the main.dart file to store the counter. Ah, you are unable? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Mino. Okay, so let's head over to the other one. I think there was a bit of the Dart stuff, so where we created 2 Dart files for it. So main.dart, main, more main. So here we have and create amend it slightly and create main app 1 and 2. So these are 2 files, I guess. Yes. Main common. And then we have run app, configure app. Okay. So now in our project, we have the coffee and cookie. And they are our functions. So this will be void main. Oops. Yep. We have here our bean factory, which at the end runs our application. Run app, configured app, build app, my app, main common. Here would be background init code, if any. To main common. So let's rename this one. So, and I really need still a possibility to, oh, I made a mistake here, to show my keys that I have entered. I think that would be pretty cool. I saw that at Primogen, I think, the YouTuber, the Twitch streamer, and he had the possibility to show all his keyboard shortcuts that he entered. I really like that one. And I tried that actually to get twice now. Maybe I managed it at the third time, you know, the free time is the charm. So we call main common, okay, nothing happens here. And then we say configured app. Homepage Dart, build, homepage. I don't really know where this configured app comes from. Ah, this is that one. And then we have the app config and it has as a child the app. Okay, I see. Easy enough, I guess. So we have the app config. That was this inherited widget that he created, right? How you do is update user data with user phone. It's a 2-factor authentication at the end. As always, I have two topics side by side. So that sounds already good. So we have this inherited widget. What does it do? We receive the app display data name, the internals, and a widget as a child. Is there another option? Because I think here is a lot of documentation, so I just want to collect and try to see which one I like best. So for Android, we have to do even more. That's good. We will do that as soon as we have the first one. Here we have the iOS stuff. Flavor in Dart code. There is no way to get flavor in Flutter code. We found that the only way to solve the problem is to use Flutter targets. When running your app, you are able to choose the main file using the CLI options. Okay, that's exactly what I want to do. Yo, Janis, you are a Flutter developer from Germany. Welcome on this channel. Coming from Android native, currently doing the next step and start working with Block. Is your favorite? Good question. Currently, I like to use Riverpod a lot, and yeah, Block is also an interesting topic because at Trophy we are working with the RX Dart block pattern, so without the block package, but still block pattern. Yeah. Misprof. What are you doing right now? I'm currently trying to get Flutter flavors running in our application. So that means we have one code base with one set of data, and we can create out of it multiple applications. Like in our case, we want to create a coffee shop and a cookie shop, and dependent on which application we start, more or less. So we have one code base and we get maybe images differently, we get maybe strings differently, and so on and so forth. And that is the idea. Hey Amma, it's great to be back. Actually, I really enjoyed or missed the live streams, to be honest. I was just a bit nervous in the meantime, as I'm always, if I start a new live stream session, it's always like, okay, is it good enough? Will the topic be interesting for everyone? Am I not too boring? Because I watched a lot of other live streamers who are developing, and I have to admit they are all so much better than me. They are really good. There are some who not only are very knowledgeable, they are also extremely good entertainers, like wearing different hats and everything, and I'm just, yeah, me. Okay, but let's stick with the flavors. So we have now managed that the iOS application can understand different schemes. But the next step would be to say, okay, if we start this flavor, we want to run it with a specific Dart file. These are create a config Dart. We will do that in a sec. And a flavor enum. Business talk. This is unfortunately ads, so I will not show that, sorry. Cool. How to exploit this command? The easiest thing is to create a config Dart file with config class and flavor enum. What I don't see is this one. Yeah. So using app flavor static field, we are able to set different flavors in different main files. Okay. In this way, it's easy to know which is the productive version. Okay. So how did he do that? He had a config Dart, app entry Dart, main Dart, and dev Dart. Okay. Sounds a bit too complicated. That can save you time and life. You can find it at the Flutter flavors. Thank you. He exactly missed the part that I wanted to see. So let's check out his GitHub repo. And let's see lib. So he created an app entry. I guess this is the one who starts the app. Okay. This is the app itself. Main dev is just creating a config. Okay. The config comes from here. With the different flavors. The config, static, app flavor, hello messages. Okay. The whole different translations, I guess. Main dev, he creates the development and then he just used it. Is that a singleton? I think so, right? Class static. Don't really like this solution, to be honest. But okay, in any case, we have this cookie guy, so let's create that ourselves and see if it works. Why do I read so much documentation? I can do it myself. Run app, and here we say we run the my app. Well, what is it? My app? Yes. So that's that. We import material, and I think that should do the trick already. So here we have now the possibility to inject our own configurations. And the same thing happens in the coffee bean with the coffee start. So this is coffee beans factory, or coffee factory, no, coffee beans, I think was the name, right? Exactly. And this was Munchy Crunchy or Crunchy Munchy. So these are our two customers that we want to make happy. open up. I fulfill the stereotype of a typical German. Thank you so much. How to read simple file created by code obfuscation in Flutter. What will I teach? I think I will not. Sorry. Exactly. The good thing about reactive and Flutter is that it works nearly the same like NGRX from Angular, and also if you know already, how do you call it in React? I think in React this is the pattern of not provider. They have something else. They have another name for that stuff, and it is React. Okay, I will take a moment to understand what is the problem here, and in the meantime I will show you what Mahtab prepared to be for today. I don't know, but my wife tries to make me healthy again. I don't know if you can see that, but my water today has berries and mint, Moroccan mint. I'm not sure why, but it seems to be healthy. So, and in React it is state management React Redux. So now we have that. I import his stuff, main common, do that, and we get the run app, which is, I will take the widgets part, then it's the easiest and smallest one. So now they always try to say to me that I have to give this command, right, with this T and everything. So that's quite complicated and nobody really likes it. So the good thing is about Android Studio, we can put it up here in the configurations, and then we can say something like, okay, Flutter, and we can give this flavor name and say something like coffee beans, and then the Dart entry point would be main.dev, this guy, and additional run arguments would be the rest that I removed unfortunately now. So let's get it back. So this one will stay up here. Flutter will be executed by the others. Build we don't need. Flavor development, not completely right, but we put that in. So this is not development, it's cookie. Cookies. And main.dev makes also no sense because that would be in our case main.coffee. Good. So what is the problem? Entry point file not found at lib main coffee. Not? I'm confused. Why not? But he finds main? Okay, it's the absolute path. Yeah, okay, got it. So right click, copy the absolute path. And now we do that. So main coffee, and we have coffee, apply. I will need a second to read the chat. Sorry for that. I currently want to finish that off and then next steps. So cookie, no, munchy crunchy. We have our entry point that is now main cookie.dart, and we execute it with flavor cookie apply. Okay, so the good thing is I can now choose up here and then just run it, and usually if everything works well, it should nothing change between the both. So starting DevTools, run, and see. In the meantime, I can chat. So what do we have? Technical OM. Basically, this means when we publish our app to production we can do code which will convert all the file in binary and pretty hard to reverse engineering. Okay. Yeah, but so that's good that I said no. I will not teach you that because it sounds very complicated to do so. Muhammad, that would be a fantastic idea, and it would be great to do it on a live stream. The last time I worked with AR was in a live stream, and I had a lot of fun during that time. So why not? And I see right now, cool, look at that. I could make this mirror light a little bit lower. So let's do that maybe. I think you will enjoy that a bit. So don't be so bright. And I can turn on this light maybe. Oh, nobody should say I'm too dark. No worries, Jonathan, that's my job. Kind of. All right, so now we have this my app, right? What we could do is we could pass in, for example, just a string, right? So the easiest way to do so would be final string, get like the app title. And now, you know, we can just create our constructor. And instead of passing in this title, we just say now that we use the app title. So of course it's empty now, but this will be required. Instead of this, we will put it out of this. So, and now my app part should be red. And we say here, for example, our coffee was the coffee beans, right? Coffee beans or beans factory. I really need to better name. So if you have a good name for our coffee and crunchy or for our coffee shop, let's tell us. Crunchy Munchy. And we have some failure because are you getting called? No, you are not existent. So we crash. A non-null string has to be blah blah blah. Okay, let's restart. So we have our beans factory. Woohoo! Now let's start our Munchy Crunchy and let's see if the naming has changed. Aguppa, you missed everything, you know? We are working here heavily on this fantastic water that my wife made me today with berries and Moroccan mint. And we worked on flavors. Oh, and I see right now that the water fits somehow. So, as you can see now, we have the possibility to change up here the namings. And if everything works well, and I put that now on top of, you see this called also Bean Factory and this called Crunchy Munchy. And it's the same code base. So latest now, after all that previous work that we have done, and I don't know how long we are sitting here already. Let's check it out. How long is the stream already? I have no idea. But I think probably over an hour. But now you see the idea behind flavors. We have the possibility to create the same app with the same source code, with everything the same, and we can completely change it. We can go absolute nuts, like colors, themes, changing images, API calls. All of that can be configured beforehand without to change everything, all of that. No worries, Keo, we can repeat everything. And the best thing is the stuff will be uploaded, so you can see it as long as you want. And if this flavors topic is good enough and you like it, and I will also create a full video how you can do it and give a bit more insights on what are the benefits. Maybe in this stream, I can create a demo application that I can use then for the video. So this would be my absolutely goal for this part here. So then the preparation for videos and the live streams would be somehow the same, and the videos would be just a condensed possibility for everyone to understand the topic as fast as possible. And I think everyone likes that. Okay, so we have Bean Factory, Crunchy Factory. That's already, sorry for that, quite a success. But now, what can we do? So we have this main part. So the one idea was to create a configuration file, right? So that we have like a class that we can pass in, like configuration or flavor config.dart. Washing the dishes. Oh, your wife will be so happy about you, Van. Well done. Oh, it's really mean for me to assume you are a guy. So, but yeah, the video will be about flavors. Okay, so hey Jobet, nice to see you. I hope you had a fantastic day today. So we have a class like flavor config, and here we can now set up several things. And this class, So here inside, we would have things like things that can change over the different applications. So in our case, we have just a string app title. And this app title should be final because it will never change again. And then we could have things like, for example, I don't know, we have maybe images, or we have an API call. So the API endpoint could change, right? So let's say this is a string, or better, an URI. I think we are not sure what we are using at the moment. Can you teach how to make the app save image to our gallery? Which gallery? Is it a backend that you have written yourself? Is it, how do you call the Hive database, I think? Then you can do it with that, or yeah. So let's call it a string API endpoints, or endpoint. And what we can also do is having a first image. So we have a string image location. Just to give you a short overview, what is everything possible with that stuff. And because I don't, let me think. I would like to make this as a builder pattern. That would be amazing. The phones gallery, not my backend. What is the phones gallery? Ah, the phones gallery. Now I got it. To make the app save images to your gallery. I think if you have an application that uses the package already for images, then actually every picture should be saved in the gallery. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think it should work that way. So if you ask what I mean with factory pattern, I want to be able to say something. I don't know if this works already, but let's see. So here, for example, we have Flutter config, flavor config. And then we can say dot created, and dot app title is, for example, beans factory. Dot, we have the API endpoint, which is, I don't know, random.api.de.dev today. And what is last? I think the image location would be the last thing. So kind of that would be amazing. So in order to do that, I cannot put that in the constructor. I would need to change the whole final stuff. So let's make it this way. And now he's happy. And the last thing would be image location, which can be, I don't know, assets, images, background, or yeah, first item. Okay. So with that, it looks pretty nice. We know exactly where to go. And if we have, for example, now we just have the endpoint, but what we also could create is like a map for different endpoints. So if we say, for example, we have a map here, then we could say something like string to string. And here it will now complain, I guess. But then we could say something, okay, we have maybe an endpoint for all items, right? So then we have items endpoint. This is this guy. And let's assume we would work with REST, then we have like something items. And then we have the next one, which is just, I don't know what else, details. And this one will be random.api.dev/item/id. ID, kind of this. Something like that. The difference between the two is the following. At the moment, these are changeable in the future. That's a bit sad. That means we cannot be sure that they have never been changed, right? We create this object and it's mutable. So all of it can be changed later. So if I come back and I have here, for example, a config file, which I call config, and I go down here and say config.title, oops, sorry, app title, of course, app title, I can override it with hello world. So now this one will be our value, right? So we override this app title up here. So if we use a constructor on the other hand, so let's say I would make them all final, so final, and I create them, whoop, and I go back now, you will see everything gets red. That is because I need now to pass it into the constructor itself. So I need to say here is it beans factory, I need to say that this is the API endpoint x, y, epsilon. So I have to pass that in, and they are not changeable during the runtime anymore. So that's the reason I did it now on top of it. So it could be done during the runtime. Actually, I think it shouldn't be possible. So yeah, as a matter of fact. So I'm trying to make an app that uses cameras. So, hey Rick, we are working on flavors in Flutter. I don't know if you have ever used them, but you can create out of one single source of code with some very easy tricks, a possibility to create multiple apps for your customers. So let's say you have a cookie customer and a coffee customer. You can create, like I did it here, with different flavors. One for the beans factory and one for the crunchy munchy factory. Both of them are my, let's call them clients. And then you have the possibility to get that. And call, exactly. So that's just for that. So I'm trying to make an app that uses cameras, so saves the taken image in the cache, that displays it in the cache. From the cache to the gallery. I think there should be a package for that. It sounds like that. So you should Google something like gallery save cached image, because you probably have an uint8 list and you have to pass this uint8 list into the gallery to a save file. I think you can also just save it. Okay, so what have we next? Could you explain what is the difference between using constructor? Yep, done. Have you tried AppWrite as backend? No, sorry, I like it. It's like Firebase can deploy everywhere using Docker, but it's still in beta and no real-time functionalities. Any thoughts about AppWrite? Yeah, as I said, I have not used it. What I have seen the last couple of days is nhost, which is also like a backend as a service. AppWrite is the name. And it's a bus, all right. I think I heard about that already. I think the Docker part is a real benefit here. Cool. So then Mirko, what about using dedicated builder and call a build method? Yeah, I could do that also, but I have to admit I'm a bit too lazy at the moment. So what I would usually do if I have something like that is a method called set app title. Then you would just call that, and here inside you would change the app title itself. So you make that like so, make them private. And then inside of here, you say like, I think we can even make that easier. That is a so-called void set, something like this. And then you have, you get something, right? A string title. And then you say app title equals to title. I think we don't even need that. And I'm gonna pop. So set API endpoints, which is a map of string, and then you have your endpoints. But you see, I do now stuff that I don't want to explain, and I think nobody really helps. So I will finish it now because I started it. So it's your fault. And the last thing is to set the image location. So we say title, and this is the image location, and then we have the image location and image location. So brilliant. I'm building a team app for my volleyball team, including their personal news feed. Fantastic. Can just say that it's amazing, but this can scale it perfectly. Yeah, indeed. I think a lot of people do that also. I think in Germany we have currently like a digital plan from the government, and what happens there is that a lot of EVs, I'm sorry I got called, just 1 second, I will be back. Getting online, MacBook, here I am. So I directly used the time to create myself a coffee, so sorry for the delay. You know, very important person. I get called all the time and have to run, and yeah, no. It was just a moving company that our moving has some problems. So what is going on in the chat? Teams, perfect. The way I have set it up using flavor enum and set the flavor before the run app, I found that to be easier. Okay, I can flavor and before the run app, I found that to be easier. Yeah, you did. I saw it like it is done in the other example, but I will get rid of that again. Do it just the easy way today. But if I'm just doing it with enum, then you really do it in the application, like at the points where you want to set it. So for example, if you have API endpoints that you want to work for different flavors, then you write some in switch case or some kind of that you go through the flavors and then you set the specific one. That could work. I don't like that so much, because if I think about a bigger application, so if you get scaling and get larger on the long run, then I think you get problems with that. Because think about it, you have then multiple locations where you change code, right? So you pass in the enum, you search where you are at which point, and at the end you have to specify at these places that you want to use several different things. The good thing about that is, of course, you have it there where it is necessary. You don't have to pre-configure everything, but you lose the possibility to just change it at one place. You know, now here, for example, I know exactly where to have changed it. Yeah, I think that would be the only thing that I could say to that, and why I wouldn't like that so much. So also with that, I could also pass it down, or what we also could do is creating a get for it, like a get container or some sort of state management that keeps track of that stuff. So, still someone here? I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah. So what do we have else? I'm the only one. Yep. Hey Hamish, nice to see you. Hope you are well. And hey everyone else. How did I get here? Creox, good question. Okay, so with all that in mind, we could just pass that configuration now inside. So we have like a final config that we can now pass in. Or also what we could do is creating a singleton that we can use from the whole application, but then testing will be pretty difficult to do. On the other hand, we could also just use the main function, or what the other one did, and I think in the Blisk we have a look at this. So here we had the one with the enum, I think. Let me see if I find it directly again. Nope. Creating flavors of Flutter app. And here we had this part. Resource folder and the new file display strings. Okay, here the strings are located differently. The only problem with that would be that we have to set up the, if we use Intel or something, we have to set up the internationalization that way. But that's not too bad. I think that should be probably easy. Display strings.dart, okay. Android manifest, res values, okay, that was just for that. So how did they do that? Main common, app configuration. He passed it inside of it with the app display name and so on, okay. And the app config of context. Because it's an inherited widget, you can use it from everywhere. Yeah, so that makes sense, I think. Something like that, so that you use your state management tool to save the app config as soon as possible, and then you can use it everywhere. So what I would do, now we have that run here, but would it be more useful if we have that main common function? Ah, that is for both of them. Ah, now I understand what he is doing. Okay, cool. So for example, if we keep with that and we have here the config title that we had beforehand, now the idea is that we have main common that we call in the place before, and we can pass that into my app. So here inside we would have void main common. And here we can set up, for example, we receive here our configuration like flavor config. And here we would do something like setup get it if we wanted. And then we can use it everywhere. Also, we can do that with Riverpod or whatever, provider, etc. The only thing is that we probably have to say widget in, what was it? Widgets initialize something. Yeah, we will get the error. Ensure initialized. Is it ensure init? No? Okay, kind of that. We will find that. Yeah. Good. So now we have this, and oh, lucky me. Here inside we have to pass in the config, so let's do that. Also here at the main cookie, we forgot that, so we have the main common that we call, and the config needs to be created. So final Flutter config equals to a new Flutter config. Not Flutter. I have to really understand it's flavor config. Only because it starts with F, it is not a Flutter config. And thank you, Hilla, that is absolutely correct. Fantastic. So let's add that one. So we jump here and we have the, what is it? Widgets Flutter binding dot ensure initialized. Exactly. So if we want to do something here down, then we want to make sure that this one is called first so that everything works correctly. But I think we will get the error message anyway if we didn't do it now. Good. So now we have currently the config title. Actually, we don't need that anymore because we don't have to pass in anything. So this can be gone. And down here, we want now to use some kind of state management. So use state management. Up. So main cookie, crunchy munchy is also not necessary anymore because we call the main common beforehand. So here we should of course call also all the different stuff. So munchy crunchy, giving it an image location, say assets, images, munchy crunchy .jpg, and we have the API endpoint, which could be like I don't know, API.munchy crunchy.dev. Munchy crunchy, a trademark. Complaints, why? Because it's a map, of course. Of course it's a map. So we have the API endpoints, which is, for example, items we set. And what did we do in the other one? It would be good that we have for the different endpoints in enum, right? So enum endpoints, maybe inside of the configuration, so that we don't miss that. So we have an enum like endpoints. And here inside we have, for example, items. And we have, I don't know, the other one was item, I guess, or detail. And now we can, instead of giving here the string, we say endpoints. Good. So now it complains again, but we have here our endpoints.items, and here the details. Good. Same thing for the cookies. So I actually have a flavor.dart where I set all the getter methods. Okay. In Flutter 2.0, when I declare a variable of class, it's not compiled. Oof. Sounds heavy. I don't know. Could be anything. I think it sounds like a good idea to have the getter stuff all in front of it. So even if you, it's just important that you have some kind of common understanding from that stuff. So what do we use? Riverpod, provider, or get it? You know what? What I could do since a long time I haven't done that yet. Let's see if I can still do that. So let's see if I open up the CloudBot. I could make a vote for that. So probably I would get something that I don't like, but hey, let's do it. Loyalty queue polls. So create a poll. Which state management? Option 1 would be provider. Command provider. Up, add. So what do we have else? We have Riverpod. Then we have, let's start with block. Why not? In the worst case, I need more time for the stuff. And we have get it, my absolute favorite, because I don't have to think. Edit and do and start. And now you will have to vote for it. And if you don't know how to vote, you have to write inside of the chat, ! Write the message that the thing that you want. I hope we get that in the chat. Actually, we should. Here we go. And then you can say ! Vote, and then the name, like provider, Riverpod, block, or get it. So, and you have exactly, let's say 2 or 3 minutes. Let's see, depending on how much polls we get. And I, in the meantime, will just clean that a bit up, get the stuff together. So copy this one. This should be done now already. Munchy Crunchy. Fantastic. That's there. Aguba, I will make for you a translation. So, you got it. Perfect. Quite funny to have again voting. Oh, did not get it? Huh. That's interesting. It seems I don't get the votes somehow. Huh. I see. I have a problem. As I said, I didn't live stream a long time, so we have some technical difficulties on the poll. But good that I saw that. Maybe for the next time I can fix them. The problem here is that I didn't connect it with YouTube. So sorry guys, I saw your votes. I can count them luckily, so I closed this poll. So getX, oh getX. I have never worked with getX, that's the funny thing. So let's cancel that one. So I think I can also pronounce the, yeah, no, it's cancelled. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, but I saw a lot of provider, Riverpod, I saw everything a little bit, so I think we can also work. I think whatever I do, everyone is unhappy, right? So let's, I think we see two votes for Riverpod, so I think you won. So let's do that. Okay. Riverpod has anyway a very good documentation, and it's very interesting to see if there has something changed in the meantime. So let's see, we go to pub.dev and check out for Riverpod. Up. And here we are, and it looks quite decent. 1,500 stars, a lot of chat, license. Oh, hooks for Riverpod, look at that. Consumer widget, easy, easy. Good, so. Did you see that one? That is new, I love it. You can now in the terminal execute, I think we can close that. In the terminal, we can now execute this here. And if I do so, you can check out the pubspec.yaml in the meantime. Let's see, here. So, so much chat, but here at this place, and if I execute now this line of code, we will see that exactly, the dependency will be added, and if I go here, we can see now that the Riverpod with the newest version is inside. So if you search for a new solution, it's like npm install, if you know that from web, and then you can say save def and so on, and with that, you have the possibility to add easily dependencies in it since then. And I shouldn't close the chat. Okay, so we have added Riverpod. So I think riverpod.dev was it, right? Yeah. Get started, blah, blah, blah. What is the package? Do we need hooks for that? A way to use Flutter hooks and Riverpod. Flutter Riverpod. Do we have to use Flutter Riverpod instead of Riverpod? Rewrite of provider, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so... Okay, I probably have to install this one. This one was a mistake. Keep memory changes, load file system changes. Make this one, get rid of that. So, pubget. And now we know how to work with it. So we have a counter provider that we create. And then state notifier, okay. Consumer widget and go for it, yep. And do we or hooks, I think. It would be great to have also the hooks for that because it makes it a bit easier. Then we can directly use it with that. I really like that actually. So also add this one. Good. So let's see if we get an example. So we have provider scope is wrapped in provider scope. This widget is where the state most of our providers will be stored. This replaces multi-provider if you used provider before. Okay. So surrounding our app with that. We have here our app now. Do we have to wrap everything? Yeah. So actually we would need to do it here. But I can also take that in the main common and say if we do it here, we can do it here. Can get rid of that if we use Riverpod and take that as provider. No, what is the name? Provider scope. And we have the child with all of that. So this one can be called, and now the coffee does the same, so we don't call this anymore. So the main common has this now. And common, yeah. Good, so counter provider, state notifier, provider counter int. Hooks Riverpod. Did I install the wrong one? So I have to remove this one, you say, and I need the other one. Remember to remove river. Thank you so much. That's very detailed. So I need hooks Riverpod. So Flutter. So this guy, and I installed it. And I need Flutter hooks. Okay, so let's see where the Flutter hooks are. So I should just yeah, we can also do that if you like. Then we just remove the unnecessary ones and just work with Flutter Riverpod alone. I just wanted to have an easy state management tool, so I hope you are not angry with me. I don't want to go in too much detail with state management today. So where is our dependency? Go for it. Here we go. Good. So now let's see if we get a basic example. So provider scope stays the same. Okay. And we have now stateless widget, counter example, watch the state. Okay. And read the state. Okay. So that works already. Fantastic. Then we don't use the hooks with the different widgets. Where do I have to set everything up? Counter provider. Okay. So this is just a state provider globally and specifies how to create a state. Okay. So in our main common, we want now to create this main provider. So this will be our final flavor config provider. And here we get, it's a variable, so it can be small. And I think we can also use a state provider for our case. The create is ref and what is that? We get this config. Wait, can we use it this way? Because it's globally accessible, we can also do that in the main coffee, I think. And then we could do something like this. And give this whole part here into this reference, like so. And can we say that this state provider is a flavor config? I think so. We just have to import this guy. Fair enough. I think that works. And now here we don't need that anymore. This one don't gets the flavor config, and with that we should be good. The only thing is where we have the cookie. And here we do nearly the same thing. We take all that out. Keep it for now. Get that. Woo. Hey, Jerry, thank you. And another member joined the team. Great to have you. Thank you so much. And by the way, you are a coffee supplier, so I should drink coffee. Hey, Moham Goham. Great name. So state provider, we have also to import it here. And we remove the config from here. Keep healthy, I give my best. It's not that easy in these times, I guess. So we call main common. The only thing is we set a different flavor. So that's good. So, and in our app, where we actually need it, we can now access the context. And if I got that right, and I'm always wrong with that, so it's like context dot, and we don't want to watch it, we want to read. And it seems that it doesn't work like that yet. I think we have to make an import, right? So we have watch.state context read. I wanted to do that. And I think first we have to import this, and somehow it cannot be, oh, it's there. Build context, did I make something wrong? So we have our stateless widget, and now we want to make context.read at one point. So for example, I think here we can even delete it and get rid of that. We don't need that. So, and wherever the title is used here, we can now say context dot. There was another sound that I cannot identify. So, new follower, hey. And inside of here, we have now our provider base. So we want to say which one we want to read. This is the flavor config provider. And here we should get our read. Was that wrong? We watch, we read, and then we make state plus plus. And I just want to get the state from it. But somehow this is read to the parameter type provider base. I think flavor config, probably I have to declare it, no? Provider base. without listening to it. Exactly, this is what I want. So there is an app bar, this is that, counter. Probably because I configured the naming here. So I said exactly what it is and the other one didn't. But that's somehow odd. It shouldn't be a problem, I guess. Okay. So I just okay, get this back because I like that. So, and also here I want to have that back. So, and in the common it should work now. So we have that state. And if I run now the Munchy Crunchy again, let's see where we are. It's also very interesting. Whenever I do live streaming, I'm really having a sore throat. It's really funny that it's always during the live stream sessions, because I talk a lot in my life, but somehow during live streams, I do something differently. So we run now the main cookie and the main coffee, and hopefully we see now beans factory, and the other one should be also, oh shoot, Munchy Crunchy. Actually something happened, I destroyed it somehow. Okay, let's see if I still have it somewhere. Here's the Munchy Crunchy config. Lucky me. So here inside, let's get this Munchy Crunchy and put this guy up here. So. This can be removed. And the coffee one is also fine. So we have that. Can go back, and here's it currently the wrong one. So let's see if I go to Munchy Crunchy and hot restart. And I probably have to go there somewhere. No, okay, hot restart is not enough. Of course not, because we have to restart the main of the cookie. So probably this will not work like that. So we can try it once more, but I don't see a possibility there. No, doesn't work. Okay, so we have to close it off and restart it. Nice, nice, nice. What a day. Is there anything better than having flavors the whole day? Okay, but now, please. Still Bean Factory. Okay, something doesn't work like I expected it. With the Munchy Crunchy. Crunchy Munchy. So we call the main cookie. That's the right one. We register this one. But somehow it takes the wrong idea from it. Let's close that off. At such problems, we always do a Flutter clean. I did not, but let's see. We cleaned it, we get it, and now let's restart. Because I think if I would have not installed the Flutter package, then I would get here up there some problems. And the coffee has it too, and there's it. So let's see. We'll take a bit longer, but Flutter clean is one of the commands that you really should know, because it helps you in most of the times and you will reduce the problems a lot. So Beans Factory. Okay, that was Munchy Crunchy. It's still wrong. Maybe it shouldn't be installed. So let's delete it once. Remove, delete, delete. It's really interesting that this is so wrong. So start this one. Flavor cookie, that's all correct. Beans Factory, still wrong. Do I use it wrong? Beans Factory. No, it's correct. So somehow to be honest, I have no idea. Interesting. Somehow it takes both into account. Probably this one is first and then this one. So if I would remove this one, it would work. Or it crashes even. I'm stupid. Of course it crashes. And this is good because of the import. Guys, this guy is the problem. I cannot do that inside of cookie or coffee. I have to register this guy somehow in the next step. So now I got it. So the problem is we have here this, and we need to pass in the whole part inside of the common. But the problem is we cannot set that here. So how can we do that actually? We have to do that lazily. Hopefully that works. I take that and I just say something like this. And up here we have to get a config, flavor config. And now we probably make a mistake, but let's see. It's just a try. I don't know if it works, but flavor config provider is equal to state provider dot and here inside we have the ref of returning the config. So, and then we have to go here and have to pass in the munchy crunchy. No, that was right. So main coffee is not the munchy crunchy, it's the other one. And you are correct. So I have now the whole provider, but what we need actually is just the flavor config. Oops. So do. So, but I think provider will not be unhappy with that. Circular dependency, okay. Flavor config, okay. Lib common flavor. Also, it could be that we have to rebuild it. At least I hope so. So we have flavor config. You are dependent on the. Ah, here we go. You can use another provider scope overriding the value of the state provider started with null and set it for each flavor and overrides. Yeah, that would be also possible. But the only problem that I have with that, it would be a bit unnice to override something, I think. So with that, it's very clear how the steps are working one by one. But with the other solution, it would be pretty hard to find where it's overwritten or why it's there overwritten. At least I think that, of course, it could work the same way. I'm not even sure if I really like that, because usually these flavors or these providers should be consts or finals, so you cannot change them anymore during the runtime. I think else you get some problems. But now if we manage it, yeah, now we have the munchy crunchy, and on the other side we have the beans factory. One more thing, I think we should change also the theming. So inside of here, we should have also a theme data with the theme. We can import that. So that would mean inside of here, we can now create the theme and say something like theme data dot light and copy width, right? Or let's have it light here on this part. And on the other side, we have the dark theme, just to make it easy and easily understandable. So theme data dot dark, import dot dark. Fair enough. So, and in the coffee, we use the light one. Not perfect, because I think coffee should be always dark, but let's see. And here inside we use the theme data, and now we can also use here the context.read of flavor config provider, and then we read the state. Flavor config provider, why is it not working? Dot state, and then get it. State dot context read flavor provider. It's the flavor config dot no. Now it gets it. Okay, somehow my Android Studio don't shows me the correct suggestions anymore, so that's odd. I think I have to restart it. But the Munchy Crunchy is our cookie, which is dark themed. So suddenly it doesn't work anymore, so restart. Which makes sense because we changed something that is in beforehand, right? We have to execute it before it exists. So with that, we have now the right part here, and also here we can have the app title. So also here we can have the context read flavor config provider dot state dot app title, I think was the name. And for future references, I can also create just for that an own variable. So Control Shift and why is it fighting? Okay, better. No. So we will do that in a second. But as you can see now, the Crunchy Munchy is now in the dark mode, and the other one is now in the Beans Factory. So with that, you have full control, right? That's pretty awesome. So should we add something else? I think we have that. Could you elaborate on how to work with flavors with no state management? Sure. If you would completely get rid of the state management, you will have a bit harder times. You have then two possibilities. Number one is just using the default, and also this is kind of a state management because, well, we do it, is to use an inherited widget. So I think that was the solution that we get from this guy here. He uses an inherited widget, so I can also share the link once more. That would be one option. The other option would be that you pass it down to everywhere you need it. So instead of using this flavor config with state provider and everything, what you could do is getting this flavor config here and pass it into the app where you need it. So you would just have everywhere this config inside, and then would have a constructor for that where you get the flavor config, and when you need it in the home page, you would pass it here inside. And then you can directly access the config. So instead of having all of that, you could just say something like config.theme, and the same thing for the app title. Create local variable. I think we have that already. I just need to do that, right? Yep. So we have the flavor config, and now we have to call that config, and it's working already. So we get some problems. App title was called on null. Tried calling app title. Of course, because we have to restart the application again, because we do something or we change something before the app has started. So, and because that needs to be final. So if we restart the coffee bean, for example, you can see still works, we still get the things. And then inside of the homepage, we would have to pass the config again down. But let's call me lazy. I think that would be the best description for me. So I don't want to pass everywhere the Flutter config and give that everywhere and push it flavor config. A name straight out of hell. Okay, so and then you can use it also here instead of having this context state stuff and just have the config. No, here it would be widget.config. So that would be another option. The downside of that is, and that's why we use state management, is you pollute a lot of stuff. So you pollute your My App, you pollute the My Homepage widget, you pollute everywhere with the passing down of the attributions. Another alternative that you would have is to create a singleton. And actually I saw that the first time in Trophy app. That was very interesting for me. So I can maybe give you a quick hint how that could look. So if we go into, not the PR, I just want to go to the part here and look for lib. And here inside we have this trophy configuration thingy. Then you can see they create a class with a singleton, which then calls the internal. And now this singleton is publicly available through the whole application. That has the benefit that for a developer, it's super easy to use. You can just pass everything in and you can reuse it everywhere and do whatever you want with it. But it has such a huge disadvantage, and this is testing. So as soon as you want to test with such a trophy or with such a configuration file, it's a nightmare, because you always have to set all the different values that you have set for a test back to null. So it is not really nice. If it's safe, if it's publicly available, yes. And the reason for that is that the app is still building the same way, right? So the flavor doesn't make a difference. Like it will be built like everything else, like every other application. Sorry. And hey, Arvin, nice to see you. Good. Okay, so we did now some state management. We talked about that. I don't know. I will take the easier part that I don't have to pass it everywhere. And then let's see what we do next. Maybe introduce and pick an image somewhere so that we have, oops, so. Don't pass that in. Oh, what's going on with the music? Switch to keyboard varia. Okay. Oh, something else. Let's keep it. Okay, so now that we have done that, we can run, and in our simulator, we should be pretty fine. So now what we have done is having different color schemes, right? So we can directly pass in here everything in this theme. So we can say instead of light, I could also say something like copy with, and then give something inside like background color is, I don't know, color.green. Wow, so many. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Wow, what is going on? Okay, that was quite a bunch. So let's see. We have then 0xff and giving, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of that. Best color in the world. And usually what we should see, this is the beans factory. If we restart now the beans factory, coffee beans, and start it, then we should see now the app with the different color. But I see already that this flavor working is a bit slower than the usual workflow, as you can see, because we have these different files for that. So you cannot always use the easy hot reload stuff. So of course, background color was of course not a good example. So let's take the primary color, I guess. Color.0xff12345 and remove this one. And is there also an app bar color, app bar theme, and there is an theme data.light app bar theme dot copy with, and now here inside we have, for example, the color, background color 0xFF 654321, and go. So let's see if this changed anything. Yeah, but as you see, we have to restart the application, and now the color is changed. But yeah, with that, we have the possibility to change all of that for the different companies. So here we have the beans, and over there we have the Munchy Crunchy. Good. So far, so good. Now we have also the possibility to use images, right? I now called that image location. Also, this could be a map for all the different images that you want. If you, of course, want to really create a web shop here, what you would do is creating an endpoint which receives you the data of the different items. So that would be this part. But I think we will not manage that today anymore. But what I can do still is to create an asset image. So we have two images, like one is a coffee bean, bean.jpg, and the other one is how should it be a cookie, munchycrunchy.jpg. So let's see if we find something on pexels.com. So it's a free open source, a free image and photo library. So let's see if we find here something. Oh, look at that. It's such a cookie. Be mine, cookie. Which cookie should we take? This cookie. Can you help me to soul? What the heck is soul? Is that a translation? Sorry, I'm very bad in English, so einzig allein die Seezunge. I don't think you mean that. Sorry. If you soul would be, that would be from the shoes, the back. That is like some fish part. So sure, I can help you to be a fish. I don't know. Let's see. So I will take this one because look at that. It's a real cookie. It's cookie. So let's take the cookie. And the other one was Pexels. We need something with coffee. I think we shouldn't have a problem. And look at that. This one smiles. That's great. Do we have something else? Oh, look at that. Best coffee. Solve. Yeah, sure. When I execute Flutter run, it says error no pubspec YAML. Pubspec YAML file. Yeah. But I looked and there was a file called pubspec YAML. Can you help me? Sure. The issue is that probably if you have your terminal open, unfortunately you will see now that this is a Mac, but on Windows you are not in the right directory. If I execute here ls, you can see I am in the right directory for flavor example, and here you find the pubspec.yaml. But in your part, I think you are in Windows, then it looks a bit different. But if you are one level higher, so for example, at my place, it's the Android Studio projects. And here, of course, you don't find anything. So if you use a Windows system, as I expect, then ls is not the right thing. You will use dir for directory, and then you can see in which directory you are and which files are inside. So I think that should solve the issue. And thank you, Visak, and thank you, Arvin. I hope that helped. Okay, so we have the dark. I said something about pictures. I hope you are happy with my pictures. I like both of them. Hey Darshan, nice to see you. And we call the one coffee and the other one Munchy Crunchy. And inside of our flavor app, by the way, I have a spelling mistake there. Please don't do that. Assets, and here inside we have images. Oops, that didn't work. So copy them over, refactor. So they are pretty big. I will keep it for now, but just for you to keep in mind, if you take pictures from Pexels or something, you should make them smaller before you do something with them. I think like in full HD, it's pretty high, or this is even more. I think this is 4K. Good. All right, so we did that. We have them, and they should be, of course, not in assets. They should be in images. Go away. So And in our pubspec.yaml, we have to define our assets as always, put them here inside, get some stuff done. So assets / images / and keep it pub_get. So with that, we get all the images from there. So that should work. Inside of coffee, we have now get dependencies. Just do it again. And we have a different name. It's coffee bean. So you are my coffee bean. Good. And the other one is munchycrunchy.jpg. Also, this name is wrong. Perfect. So the naming should be done correctly. And now let's see if our apps have changed already. I don't think so, because we have to make them visible, right? It is not enough if we just show them, but I will make a restart anyway, just to make sure that we have the actual or the latest informations there. So Bean Factory is running, and this one is also running. Fantastic. Is it? That will be soon. And in the meantime, I will just change this whole column part. We take it out. We make an image.asset. And here we take the context.read.flavor config provider .state. And what was it? Image. Let's see. That was image location. Okay. So with that, we should get the image here, and I think we can say boxfit.cover. Good. So if we go to coffee beans and I hot restart, let's see. Probably the image is pretty big, but still it should find it at least, would be my expectation. Let's stop and restart. Ah, fantastic. So yeah, here we are. And this is not cover. I think that is not correct. Contain, fill, fit with, none, fill. Doesn't make a difference, or fit, height, contain. No, it's not just you, Arvin. It's just the same for everyone. Especially if you make a clean or something, then it really takes some time to get that stuff done. Maybe I don't use the full space somewhere. Weird. I think we don't need that add button anymore. Better. Okay, so now we can fill or even cover. Yeah, good. So, and if I change it to Munchy Crunchy, I have to start it. So, and now we have managed it to create two completely different apps. They are completely distinct. The colors are different. The pictures are different. We have the possibility to configure everything in it, which is fantastic, right? So we have the possibility to have really a deep understanding of what we want to do. And with that, you have two customers. You have one for cookies and one for coffee, and you completely are distinct between the two. But you have the same code base, which allows you to use your old apps and create two complete different flavors. So that is the idea of Flutter flavors, and I think we really managed it to create something cool out of it. We implemented our Riverpod part, and yeah, I think that's a quite success for today. I will push all of that, of course, in GitHub, so you have the chance to take a look into, ask questions if you want. And as always, I'm in Discord nearly all the time, so ask me if you have questions there, and write me on Twitter if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. It was a fantastic live stream. I really have fun. I want to do it way more in the future again. Is there any performance drawbacks? No, I don't think so. As I said, because it will just use the flavors, so it will just create the app completely from scratch, and it just will take the configurations that you did in beforehand. So it really creates the complete app in a different aspect. And thanks to the tree shaking, I'm pretty sure that not even the Dart code is getting compiled at the end. So everything that is not used inside of the profile build or inside of the release build will not be a part of the other one. So if you have a cookie app, it will completely remove everything from it and should work the same way. What is Superbase? Okay, you learned something. That's fantastic. That's what the session was about. I learned something too because I was not able to do it myself beforehand. So I think we had a successful session. Yeah? So what is a Superbase? Sounds very crazy. It calls even Firebase alternative. Interesting. Authentication. Okay. Can it be also done with Flutter? So there was already the Flutter sign. So I guess yes. Okay, sorry guys, I have to be on. I have to go to the bathroom very quickly, so that's why my saying goodbye is very short today. But yeah, I said everything important. Thank you, and till the next time. Bye guys.